Hello, how are you doing today? I'm Fia. I'm an energy and spirit worker, Reiki, and healing arts practitioner. I'm offering today another version of these soul embodiment practices with the theme of coming home to yourself. In where do you search outside yourself for stability, for comfort, for love that you don't give to yourself? And on another endpoint, maybe this idea of how do you use healing and shadow work as a means of perfectionism and self sabotage and shame instead of genuinely feeling the experience? Pardon, I have a little bit of dry mouth right now. I need to drink more water soon. So, we're just tapping into this connection of who we are in all facets, the vibrancy of our own being, of our own experiences, our own ability to find comfort and happiness. This doesn't mean we can never have anyone outside of ourselves or experiences outside of ourselves that bring us joy, that bring us comfort. All of those things are lovely. But if you never feel that way internally, it does not matter what happens externally. You're just never going to feel settled. I say this as someone who struggled with, like, all my life feeling homesick, feeling very disconnected, feeling not at ease in my own body, feeling like almost like my body was a separate being, a very limited being that I was just kind of forced to be in, and so was this earth. I never felt quite that level of comfort with people or places. Like, it was never enough. There was always this feeling of homesickness. And then getting into the healing practice, a lot of us, I think there's this almost constant need for growth, this idea that we're always growing, which we are. But there's a difference between this organic experience of it versus trying to mold and shape yourself because you just don't feel safe or comfortable and you feel ashamed and not being this idealized version of existence. Hope that makes sense. I have like notes written down that I'm kind of looking at, but these are more just the prompts I'm gonna give. So this is unscripted. And sometimes it's hard to form thoughts in front of a camera. Anyway, so we're going to start with this little self check in, where you are right now. Maybe take a few deep breaths in. I'm not going to be moving around too much because I have a very large cat asleep on my lap. Just putting your hands over your heart, or maybe over your abdomen, or on your head, or over your eyes, whatever feels most comfortable for you right now. We're tuning into this first embodiment prompt and asking yourself, what does it feel like to feel safe in your own body. Maybe you want to do a deep restorative pose, a little child's pose. Maybe curl up. Go for whatever feels best for you. Check in. Does your body need anything right now? Do you need to take a nap? Do you need to use the restroom? And you've been putting it off for some reason. Do you need to drink some water? Drink some tea? Something relaxing? Eat something? Or just do some breathing? Just wrapping my arms around my abdomen and my stomach right now. Feeling what it feels like to be held. What does it feel like to feel safe within your body? And then going off that, what does it feel like to feel safe in your heart? Tune in with that arm or a hand on your chest over your heart. Feel the sensation of it beating. And envision the light just shining into the heart space, to the darkness of the behind the rib cage, the sternum. What is your heart showing you? What does it need to feel safe? How is it feeling right now? Is there a landscape of some sort showing up? A vision, a sensation in the rest of your body, an emotion? Allow it to come through with no pressure, just at your own comfort. Moving some of your own energy around if you feel so called. Wipe off anything stagnant, any pain, any hurt, energetically. So that was your first little, this is all about really just doing a self-check-in, being able to return home at any given moment, even during times when you do feel extremely isolated or alone or unsettled and ungrounded or anxious or depressed, whatever it might be, whatever you might struggle with, we're building this relationship so that you can always return home to your center, to your soul, to allow your body, your heart, your mind, all facets of your being to feel safe and held and expressing itself, expressing yourself how you truly wish to. So, how does it feel? What does it feel like to feel safe in your body and in your heart? And then moving on, what does it feel like if you want to, if you're a believer in this, you don't have to be, if you believe in the divine, if you believe in spirit guides, the idea of ancestors, life after death, lost loved ones, animal guides, angels, gods and goddesses, whatever it may be. You know, I am definitely not here to be like, this is what I believe and this is the right way, because who am I to say that? Whatever you feel comfortable with. I say this as a spirit worker. I like to invite in my own spirit guides, my animal guides, my soul family, the gods and goddesses who I work with or who wish to come through and support me, the other entities, and this is usually who comes through the strongest for me, the animals who I've taken care of, who I've lost. You can invite them in now if you feel so called to help support you during this practice. So inviting in your higher self, your soul self, however you resonate with the wording. And ask, what does it feel like to be deeply held and supported? Ask, what does it feel like in your body, in your mind, your heart and soul to just feel deeply held, deeply supported? We do a movement practice off of this. When I was doing this earlier, I was just on the floor in like a fetal position and then rolling around. It felt really good, honestly. I was giving myself a little like side massage on the ground. If you want to call up the earth or the waters, the oceans, whatever, the air, the skies, whatever feels like it supports you and loves you unconditionally. We can often feel, especially if you're going through a hard time, doesn't matter how many people are around you, you can just have times where you feel deeply isolated and alone. So we can tap into this energy always, even at your darkest moments. What does it feel like to be deeply held and supported, knowing that you are never quite as alone as you feel? At the end of the day, you always have yourself. And you can feel safe in knowing that. My cat finally moved, so I can move around a little bit more. And how can you let your body move when it feels safe, when it feels supported, when you feel strong and settled in your own being? How can you nurture that feeling, that energy? To let things out. Do you want to bounce around? Feel alive again? I don't right now, because feeling very calm today. I would like to maintain that because I've been feeling a bit fiery this week. I've been needing to cool down a bit. And then we're going to tune back in. I'm envisioning your sacral, right below the navel. Taking a deep breath in, feeling what it'd be like to fill the space, both in the front and the back of your abdomen and on all sides, with just fresh air. Shining a light in the sacral. There's a message coming through. If there's not, that's okay. Asking, how can I feel safe in expressing my emotions? And linking with sacral and the heart. Can I feel safe in my emotional expression? We're exploring any blocks you might have. What lessons have you been taught about emotions that keep you from genuinely feeling safe in experiencing them and communicating them and processing? There might be some movement that needs to happen. For me, I know I need to dance out most of my emotions because I will repress everything if I'm not careful. And anytime I delve a bit intensely into an embodiment session, that's when I start bursting into tears because I just need to. Because if I tend to just need to cry sometimes, and then I automatically, not even consciously, will hit this block and like shove it back down, which is not always helpful, and then it builds up. So how can you feel safe in your emotional expression? Allow your body to move, to feel how it needs to feel, not forcing anything. Maybe doing some pelvic or hip circles. Maybe burrowing into yourself. How do you feel? And if you're not feeling bad, maybe you're feeling nothing right now. That's okay too. You're allowed to have days and time periods where you just feel a bit disconnected from your emotions or nothing's going on, so there's nothing to feel strongly about. You're just bringing aliveness back to the experience, the possibility. Have you been taught to feel ashamed, certain emotions, or that they're not always appropriate at certain times? Now, don't get me wrong, not every emotion is going to be the appropriate response to the trigger, because sometimes we're feeling something disproportionately based off another experience, but you're not wrong for it. You're not wrong for the emotion, just not always. How am I trying to phrase this? I think you know what I mean. You know. Sometimes you're mad about something else and someone just says something that they don't mean, and you freak out on that instead of the original thing. essentially. But that does not mean you're wrong for feeling that way. It's just that, hey, maybe we can get to the root of why you're feeling that way. And is that the real cause? Or sometimes you just feel sad. Sometimes you just feel tired. It does not always have to be a big thing. Maybe you want to cool it down. Maybe you've been feeling like me, fiery. Go on a little inner journey. Block out your eyes. Lessen the sensations you're experiencing. Tune back within instead of the external. And with that, we go into the last prompt. How can I sink more deeply into the experiencing of my soul right now, in this moment? What does tune in to wherever you feel it in your body, no pressure? What does your soul want to experience? What does your soul want to come through? How does it wish to express yourself? You don't have to force it. If nothing feels particularly strong right now, this is just a process of rebuilding trust, rebuilding the relationship, to know that you can always return, and that your soul can always feel safe in its expression. I'm saying it, but you are your soul. It's not a separate entity. We're just allowing it to step through a little bit more fully and into the body. I'm gonna bring out these oracle cards real quick. This is the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck, and I thought this was a really helpful little words. I cannot find them, but little picture little picture to help visualize this idea we're talking about. So this is there's 4 steps to the traditional alchemy process. There is the darkening, there is the lightening, there is the reddening, and then there is the yellowing, which I didn't bring out because that one is a little bit more difficult for me to get, and it didn't feel immediately relevant to this. Sometimes we when we're in the darkening and we're in the lightening, these are the 2 polar opposites. The darkening is like that shadow work, that darkness, the dark night of the soul, the beginning of the journey. And then the lightning is, think of it as almost like the crown. It is this idealized, perfect spiritual state. So when you're in the beginning, you're in the darkness, and then you think, oh, well, I'm trying to get to this. But in reality, it's not that linear journey. And the lightning, this idea of perfection, of being always in this space of being this perfect heavenly being that exists in the ethers. It's not real. It's very disconnected. It's part of the process. There's times when it's nice, but it's not living. And that's why we bring in the reddening or the blood. The blood is our force, it is our passion, it is the link between the spiritual and the physical. So when we're in this state, we can call in the soul and allow it to express itself. We tap into this revening, where we bring the passion, the vitality, the life back to the idealized spiritual heavenly state. They're not separate. Your darkness and your lightness are not separate. You do not have to fix yourself. You are not a problem to be fixed. When we bring back this into our body and find ourselves and feel safe and comfortable and secure and getting back into ourselves, we can bring back in the passion and the life force to our soul, to our experience, instead of seeing ourselves as these separate segments and this part is bad, this part needs to be fixed. We need to grow and get to this perfect being right there, and then we'll finally be happy. And we'll finally feel safe. We'll finally be settled. So ask yourself, what does blood mean to you? What does the color red mean to you? Ask your soul, how does it want to express itself? Know that you can always return back to this mindset, this higher mindset, and bring it to life. So your soul just wants to rest. Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling deeply fatigued? Do you want to celebrate? Maybe you did a big accomplishment and you created something huge, or you accomplished something that really means a lot to you, even if the external factors don't tell you so. How can you let yourself feel what it's like to feel accomplished and to feel at home and at ease with your accomplishments instead of not feeling safe in them? Does your soul want to communicate with another person? Do you want to say something that you haven't felt secure in saying or communicating with someone? And if it's really nothing right now, or maybe it's a movement, maybe you just want to dance, maybe you want to bring in some sensuality to it, maybe it's a fun, light dance, bouncing all over the ground and bouncing all over the walls and like spinning, whatever it might be, however you're feeling, just allow yourself to experience it, to like bring it to life so that your soul feels safe and comfortable and secure back in your body, at home again in your body. Take a sip of water. This is really just what soul embodiment is. It's being the bridge. It's allowing yourself to be every expression of yourself, knowing you can always return to that place, not denying the parts of yourself that you feel don't fit, or that you feel don't fit this idealized version of what a perfect spiritual being is. You're looking outside of yourself and seeing what other people are doing, thinking, why am I not there? Why can't I be like that? That is acceptable, but let's be honest, what people show is usually we're never going to be in someone else's life, in someone else's brain. We don't know what's going on in their brain, so we don't have to search outside of ourselves for the ideal person, the ideal way to live life. The darkness is not always bad. The light is not always good. It just is. Hiccups. So I'm going to write these prompts below. Just to kind of, in the description, just to kind of give you a little visual aid if you're someone who remembers things more clearly, or if you want to write things down or journal or meditate or gain other inspiration from it. I'm not here to tell you how to walk your journey, walk your path, whatever. I'm pretty sure Mercury might be going into retrograde soon. I mean, I've been having trouble communicating anyway, but whew. Or I'm making things up. Who knows? Hopefully y'all get the point. But yes, thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed this little practice, some of the messages that came through, some of the inspiration, and just know you are a human. There is nothing wrong with being human. A lot of our reactions, our actions, our thoughts, our feelings are just natural responses that come from being human and from surviving in this world. And you are not wrong, and you are not a problem to be fixed, and you do not have to reach this perfect idealized state and be constantly trying to grow and heal and become. You can just live your life the best you can. And you are allowed to have times where you are messy and flawed. And you are still lovely and wonderful for that. You're not wrong, okay? And you don't have to change yourself to make yourself more palatable than anyone else or more acceptable. Now, with that being said, have a wonderful rest of your day. I honor you on your journey. I'm sending all of you my very best wishes. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Hopefully my point got across in a way that resonated. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm saying it again.